Yeah, let's go to the NFL Combine and go, tough luck. You didn't quite make it. Have you ever heard of MMA? You want to be a professional athlete.
All right, welcome to another episode of Two Fight Fans, where we talk about all things in combat sports. I'm one fight fan, Colin.
I'm the other Stuart.
All right, it's been pretty doom and gloom with all of our episodes as of late, so I thought
Yeah. Yeah.
today let's see. We kind of actually did this last year, where we did an episode of like what we want to see change or different things that we'd like to see implemented in the UFC or the MMA game. So I thought,
Mhm.
okay, Stu and I, in a hypothetical situation, we control MMA, we control the UFC, whatever. Okay, what are some changes that we would do realistically that could make fighting more appealing, make however we want to interpret this, because there's been a lot of issues with different fights, different cards, the entertainment overall, just the overall quality of these cards and the fighters.
Mhm.
So here are our attempts of trying to fix the current downward spiral shithole that MMA is currently heading.
Yeah. Well, let's put some guardrails on this too to make it a little
Yes,
bit
yes,
more
yes, yes.
specific. The thought experiment is not MMA as a whole, because 95% of MMA is the UFC. So it's basically the UFC. If you were essentially placed in the position of Dana White, Dana White gets fired, Colin is subbed in for Dana White, right?
Yeah.
You still have fiduciary duty to the stakeholders. You have people above you. You're not king shit of fuck mountain. You're
Right. Yes,
just
yes,
Dana
yes.
White. There's still Hunter Campbell. There's still Endeavor. There's still TKO. So you can't be fucking with the whole situation by being like, cut the roster in half, or something crazy where they're going to go, hey, this isn't going to work for our contractually obligated content schedule. You have to kind of work within the system of what are you going to be able to sell the rest of the organization on that would have
Yeah.
a meaningful impact on making MMA better and something
Yes.
that Colin and Stuart would more enjoy.
Yes, so that is a pretty big restriction right there. But we'll see. Let's see what we came up with and how
Yeah.
much that pushes that boundary. So,
Yeah,
um,
let's quickly throw out the ideas that we would do if that wasn't the case. If we weren't tied by this, we would say
okay.
maybe a fighters union, better
Mhm.
fighter pay. We'd say probably the Muhammad Ali Act being applied to MMA. Um, we'd probably say get rid of Apex cards, have the number of fights in the UFC. All of these things that we've talked
Yeah.
about. Can you think of any others that are outlandish that we couldn't do?
Cut
Fighters
heavyweight.
union, cut heavyweight. Yeah, basically cut heavyweight. Um, yeah. Yeah. All right. So now that we've got all those out of the way, because we know a fighters union or the Muhammad Ali Act applying or a 50-50 split like most sports, as opposed to the 80-20 split that they currently have between the UFC as an organization and the fighters themselves. They're going to wherever there are site fees. So they just put Brazilian light heavyweights in Utah because they're like, well, Utah paid us to go there and Brazil didn't. These are the things we have to kind of respect that, hey, the stakeholders are going to want us to keep raking in money. But what way can we change this sport slightly in the way we run it to make it better for the fans, not just the stakeholders?
Yes, yes.
So, Colin, why don't you kick it off? What's your first idea?
All right. So my first idea was to and this was actually inspired because I saw something online. Get a real and impartial ranking system that actually matches up the right fighters with the right challengers. And
Mm.
in that limelight, promoting certain fighters on their way up and specifically the lighter weight classes. Okay, so this came in a whole bunch of things because Tapology came out with a new independent ranking system that is like
Hmm.
not fan voted or anything. And have you seen this yet?
I saw that they would like rank every fighter in the UFC
Mhm.
compared to all other like fighters in the world at that weight class. So like if you were Jeremy Stevens, you'd be like the 98th lightweight contender.
So they do have that, but they also have like a UFC specific one.
Oh, I did not see that. Okay.
So I'm gonna drop that in our little server here, so
Okay.
you can see that. But just taking a brief glimpse of it, there are some like similarities with the UFC official rankings, but there are some surprises or some interesting things. So I want to get your just quick hot take because there's also another big realization I had with this that it goes
Hmm.
with my first adjustment. So just take a quick gander at it. And what do you think? Decent? Agree with these rankings? Don't agree? Horribly misplaced?
Well, what I'm looking at here is we've got Sergey Pavlovich as number 2 heavyweight, even though his last fight, I believe he lost to Alexander Volkov, who's ranked behind him at number 3.
Mhm.
So that doesn't make sense. Jamal Hill is ranked number 4 at light heavyweight above Khalil Roundtree Jr., in which Khalil Roundtree
Yep.
Jr. and Jamal Hill, their last fight, Khalil beat Jamal Hill. So, and then Carlos Olberg is between both of them. So I don't know how that happened. I'm trying to look at these other ones. No, because this is like ranked based on like what you think is the best fighter in this division, right? I see Bilal Muhammad is number 2 at welterweight.
Mhm.
We've talked about this before about how like if a contendership queue rankings should be who's up next for the fight. So the number 2 person should always be up next for the fight. It should never be I was the champion, I lost the belt. I just go to number 2. It's not necessarily power rankings in that way of like who is the best fighter in this division. It's about who's up next. It should be just like they do it in boxing, right? Who is the most deserving challenger next? Bilal Muhammad, coming off a loss of Jack Della Maddalena, is certainly not. Leon Edwards certainly isn't. Why is Sean Brady number 6 where Leon Edwards is number 3? That doesn't make any sense. Like, you're not deserving coming off of a loss. So immediately I'm like, nah, this is a bit fucky. This doesn't make any sense. Especially
Okay.
because, like, at featherweight, you've got Volkanovski as number 1 and then Topuria as number 2. If this is power rankings of who is the best, Topuria should be above Volkanovski until Volkanovski wins, but you can't have that. So already we're getting into some. This is looking like a bit of bullshit from what I understand rankings should be about.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, it's hard for me to say like, okay, if you're a champion and you lost to a challenger, but let's say it's a really close fight that warrants an immediate rematch. In that situation, you would drop to number 2,
Yeah,
right?
but
But that's not always going to be the case. You might
yeah,
get absolutely staunched, and you're like, well, no need to rematch immediately. So where do you fall then? Do you immediately just fall to number 5, or like what happens then? So I don't know how Tapology does their rankings, but I don't
so
know
it's
what
an
they're looking
algorithm,
at.
right?
Yeah.
It's AI generated, right? It's some sort of. It's not human, it's a formula that's been punched in to do this, right? Which again, with fighting, it's really hard because it is something where it's, let's say you lose 50-45, but man, those rounds are super close. And then
Mhm.
there are 50-45 where every round was clearly, oh man, you got battered, pillar to post.
Mhm.
The AI and algorithms ain't watching the fights. They're not getting the sniff test. They're not passing the kind of vibe of the fight along in these rankings. So again, I'm
Right.
kind of like, this might be a good stab at it, but in my mind, if you're the champion, you lose. We're not talking about how good you are in this division because you still might be the second best fighter, but you move to number 15. Like, you go to the back of the line when it comes to fighting.
Mhm.
Uh, it, as the number 1, like, to be the most deserving challenger. Now, it might be something where then you match up again because you are still a well-respected fighter, even though you're number 15 in the contendership rankings. You fight the number 5 contender because number 1 and number 2, number 1 is the number 1 contender is going to go on to fight. Number 2 and number 3 are jockeying for position. Maybe number 4 is injured, so number 5 and number 15 fight, right? And that's an easy
Mhm.
way to catapult you up to number 1, kind of like they do in boxing. Like, that's the way the contendership queue should work, not this. Hey, Topuria, even though he doesn't fight in this division anymore, is still the number 2 featherweight in the world. Like, we we don't need that. Who needs that? You know?
So there's a whole set of rules that they implemented into this algorithm, which we're not going to go over all right now, but
Yeah.
it is it it's interesting, and it does. I do believe that we need a system where it's very clear who's the champion. That's we already know that, but then who is next in line to challenge? Because all these things of like people jumping the line or talking their way through it or whatever, like I don't like, you know.
Yeah. But that's part of the fun of having the matchmaker model is when the iron is hot, you can you can you can strike, right? Like you can make this thing happen,
Sure.
right? Like Conor McGregor might not have been the number one contender coming off of the Dennis Seaver fight, but like he was the hottest shit, and that was amazing to see. Um, Now, sometimes it does feel like a bit of fuckery where you get like Dan Henderson over Robert Whitaker fighting Michael Bisping, and you're like, well, hold on, what the fuck? But at the same time, this is again like part of this is building storylines, right? This isn't the NFL, this isn't the NHL, this is there. The storyline and the ability to build narrative is so much more powerful than it is in like league sport games. That I also want to be able to honor that. It's kind of like Corey Sandhagen, right? Corey Sandhagen getting the shot from Rob Dvalishvili is great, but it's like if you were going like full meritocracy, you'd go he'd have to beat Umar Nurmagomedov because he lost to him, right? He'd probably have to fight Sean O'Malley. He'd probably have to fight, an ex-champion in this division. But it makes it more interesting to go like, hey, this is probably his only chance. Let's give it to him. Let's see what he can do. Yeah.
And part of
I
me
also
likes
go ahead.
having storylines like that, but
Mhm.
with the recent fuckery that's been happening, I don't like it anymore because
Yeah,
it's like
but you're
you
not going to
can't.
get Khalil Roundtree versus Alex Pereira then, right? Because he was what number 9 in the division and hadn't beaten
Mhm.
anyone in the top 10, right? Like you're not going to get that fight.
I think he
You're not
was
going to.
high. I think he was in the top 5 when he fought.
I don't think so. I
Nah,
think he
I don't
was
think he
like.
was that far down.
Is he even in the top 5 now?
Yeah, isn't he
Maybe
like
since beating
4 or
Jamal,
5?
he went up in rankings. I'm pretty sure he was like number 9. He was number 6.
Okay.
He was pretty far back. Yeah, I'm looking at it. He was number 6.
Mm.
Right? Like he's number 4 now. He's still behind Carlos Oberg, which I don't fucking understand. Right, but like you don't get that fight. You
Right.
don't get. I mean, Josh Van versus Brandon Royval. Josh Van was not even in the top 10, and then he
Mhm.
jumped up to fight Brandon Royval. You don't get that fight, right? If we stick to that, so I prefer that, but I do agree that we definitely need to figure out what the fuck's going on with these rankings because these rankings are uh make no sense from like a hardcore fight fan standpoint and don't seem to really
Matter.
matter, yeah, when it comes to like the actual matchmaking, which is more of an issue with like the schedule and their beholdens to their content calendar than it is actually like the matchmakers fucking up.
Mhm.
But I'm very wary of handing power over to an algorithm and or an AI and assuming it's going to do better than humans when it comes to something as like nuanced and sort of taste based as fighting rankings. Because it's very good at identifying like math equations, but it's not very good at going like understand the complexion of this fight and how impressive it was for this fighter. Right, like Dustin Poirier performing super ably against Islam Makhachev was very impressive because we knew Dustin Poirier was on the decline. Right? Like no AI is going to have the eye to recognize, ooh, this person is slowing down slightly. Ooh, this isn't the Robert Whitaker of old against Rainier de Ritter. Right? Like it's not going to be able to recognize those things and so be able to discount or upgrade certain performances appropriately within the rankings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's again, I any solution for this right now, you're gonna fall in one category or the other, where either going more the matchmaking, storyline driven route, or the very much like, nope, it's just 1, 2, 3, and very much like any other sport does. So, and
I mean,
finding that balance is gonna be tough.
I think having an independent body of people that can do these rankings is
Yeah.
a good idea. Not these like the 5 jabronis that they have that work for like radio stations in Florida, right?
Mhm.
Like have Zane Simon, have Luke Thomas, have Brian Campbell, have Ariel Hawani, have them submit and then have an algorithm compile based on a certain like, hey, however many people put you in the top 3, the 6 through 4, right? And then like use the math to work it out that way. But
Right.
don't be like, hey, we just look at how many people have certain amount of knockouts, right? Because also they have this explanation here, but it's like, what's the secret sauce here? Like, how much is a 1 minute knockout weighted against? Or like, if you beat Andre Philly, we know he's never been in the top 15, or like very rarely he kind of sniffs it. But like beating him is a real good test of where you are as a contender versus getting 3 knockouts in a row versus jabronis. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? So
Yeah.
like, how are they weighting that? Because I know finishes are weighted slightly more than decisions, and it's like, well, why does that matter? So there's stuff like that where you're like, nah, nah, nah. You need to have educated humans be doing this, and then you can have like the math be gut checked by an algorithm, but just letting basically a glorified Excel spreadsheet decide where people should be ranked is crazy to me.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I agree. Let's get a good ranking system in there. I think that would help. And then actually having matchmakers sort of beholden to that.
Yeah.
Um, except like for those caveats, I think that's a good idea. But man, going this full like AI, I don't know. I use AI now with every white collar job. You have to use AI now, and every company is racing to create their own in house or like bespoke AI for their specific industry, right? So
Mhm.
like I was dealing with like an HVAC company that's coming up with their own HVAC AI to provide AI quotes, right? But they don't know the nuance of like, hey, it's going to be a pain in the ass to get a ladder up there. It's going to be a pain in the ass. How is this drywall looking? It looks pretty moldy. This looks like shit, right? Like the AI isn't going to do it. You can just punch in, hey, it's this size house. It's got this many feet, we think. It's got this much clearance. It's not going to understand the nuance.
Mhm.
Also, like, do you really need AI for an HVAC? Like, I don't. And then I use mine in my own internal company, which is a marketing agency, and dude, the shit that it spits out to me, I'm like, this sounds like a brain dead person or like an intern trying to sound smart on their first like week about like this is how marketing works, and I'm like, none of this captures any of the nuance or any of the like kind of deeper understanding that you need. Not that you need that much deep understanding to do marketing, but you can't just say like making sure you hit your right target audience at the right time is the thing that you need to make sure your marketing is most effective. Thanks, bud. That doesn't tell me jack shit, like, and that's millions of dollars of AI research to do that. So I count me skeptical. Count me skeptical, man. Yeah, I don't buy it. So that's what I think about tapology thing.
All
Like,
right.
yeah, I don't know. How do you feel about it? I realize I didn't
I
ask you.
I think it's a step in the right direction. Like
Hmm.
I like it being impartial and not like like being independent essentially, and taking like the emotion out of it because like I know for me, I can't be impartial. Like for
Hmm.
me, certain fighters are always going to be like at the top. Like, you know, Max, my boy, he's always going to be up there for me, and like
Hmm.
you're a little bit better about keeping impartial, but for me, I'm too attached to certain fighters. So I think having something that is not like cold and calculating, but it is more. It's like here are the numbers, and but this is not the same as soccer where you literally just count how many goals did you score. It's a
Hmm.
very easy metric. This is not as there's way more layers to this because
Yeah.
how you win, when you win, over what kind of opponent you won by, like it's all very different. So um yeah, having some of those considerations, I just I just really don't like the current UFC ranking system because it means nothing and it's not useful. I literally just look at it to see which names are still like floating around the top, and that's it.
Hmm.
But it really is not useful for anything.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy because I'm looking at the fan voted rankings on Typology, and I agree more with the fan voted rankings. And I think just like passing the sniff test, the fan voted rankings would do better because they've got Hamza Chimaev as number 2 rather than Nasruddin Imavov, right?
Hmm.
Because Hamzat is behind Israel Adesanya when it comes to middleweight rankings, and it's like, of course, Izzy can't be fighting up against Dricus. Like that's silly. Izzy's lost like what 2 in a row, 3 in a row. Um, he needs to be way farther down. Um, but then again, I see like Robert Whitaker is number 8, and I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you need to drop him down to like number 15. Like, he's lost so many. Like, he's not contending for the title again. Why are you putting him up there? So I don't know. I think you just need to have like a good group of like 20 people, and then have an algorithm to figure out how to do the like vote scoring within
Yeah.
their top 10, top 15. And then also deciding what is the rankings for, man? Is the rankings for who we think is the best fighter in each division at a given moment, or who is the next contender? Because not always the best fighter becomes the next contender, right? Because otherwise it would just be Israel Adesanya constantly getting killed by Dricus du Plessis. It wouldn't make any sense. Or like Robert Whitaker, he beat or Max Holloway beat every other contender routinely, but just couldn't beat Izzy or couldn't beat Alex. And it's like, if that's what our rankings are for, to just say like, hey, this person's still the number 1 contender, so let's have him fight again. You're just gonna have Max Holloway lose 10 times in a row to Alex, or Robert Whitaker lose 10 times in a row to Izzy. Like, this is silly. It should be about who's up next. Even if it's somebody where we're like, well, we don't really give them a chance. It's like, hey, they've earned their way here. It's time for them to get the shot. Which I think would be a better way to talk about the rankings rather than who is best. Yeah. All right. You had like 4 other things involved in yours, though.
They were all kind of surrounded that. So yeah, okay. There are a few things, but that was like my first kind of bigger idea picture. But what's yours? What do you got?
All right. So mine is, I'm trying to tackle the pay issue in MMA without actually raising pay. Right? If I'm Dana White, like, I can't raise pay because that's going to hurt my bottom line. But what I can do is try to figure out a workaround so that the fighters can still get paid more without me having to pay them. Also, what I need to do is, I've begun to think of this theory, Colin, in life, where MMA is turning into slop. Content is turning into slop. Netflix films, books. I mean, and the proliferation of podcasts and YouTubers and Twitch streamers and all this stuff has created so much slop that I'm beginning to believe slop is not a signifier of quality, but in fact a genre unto itself. Right?
Okay.
Like, you hear like people say like, "Oh, I really like fantasy books, but I don't like literature." Right? Like, I don't like literary fiction, because like literature can be both a demarcation of quality of writing and books, but also its own genre, right? We all know the hallmarks of like literature. It's like people brooding and sitting in coffee shops thinking about their emotions, right? Like literature, as opposed to like fantasy sci-fi. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Slop is sort of becoming its own genre, which means I want the content to be easy and homogenized. I want it to require almost no participation from myself with the product, right? I don't want to have to like think about, oh, how is this different? Oh, this is interesting cinematography, or oh, I got to actually like think through this podcast. It's more like, hey, this is background noise. This is second screen viewing. This is easy. This is beach reading, right? I can read it and kind of absorb it, but it doesn't really matter because it's the easiest sentence to read on earth.
Okay, sure.
And what that has to do with is mass-produced homogeneity. The earliest sign of slop was Hallmark movies, Lifetime movies, right? They all have the same exact plot. They all are garbage, but you know exactly what's going to happen in every Hallmark or Lifetime movie. It's like the most homogenous slop ever. The UFC has turned into this genre of slop, and so I'm trying to figure out how can I combat that, make it more unique so that it's not one gray sludge that all looks the same constantly, and how can I get fighters paid more? And that's simply to get rid of the Reebok uniform deal or the Venom uniform deal, and allow fighters to wear their own shorts, to wear their own tops, and get sponsors plastered all over their uniforms. Let's get them paid more. Let's get Condom Depot back on people's asses. Let's have them bring out their like banners with all their sponsors. Let's make sure that like, hey, if Rich Franklin ever wants to come back and fight in those pink and brown shorts, great. If GSP ever wants to fight in those little tidy whities, fantastic. If Alan Belcher wants to wear those tasseled boxing shorts, great. There was so much character in that. Crow Cop's checkered pants, right? You had Dennis Hallman's like Speedo banana hammock. How many people had right? You had Aoki in his rainbow colored leggings. Like
Oh yeah, those
how
are
much,
sick.
yeah, how much character. Anderson Silva in his black and yellow. John Jones walking out just with the red shorts with the Nike logo, right? Like how much more spirit and character was brought to this sport when you could have your own logos and your own style of shorts rather than just, hey, it's the black corner, hey, it's the yellow corner. Oh, we've got a white corner here. Oh, look, somebody's got black and blue. Like the same style of shorts, the same font, the same everything. This allows the fighters to get sponsorship deals, which also will help us know, hey, are sponsors interested in MMA anymore, or are we really dying? Are we going back to pipe fitters and condomdepot.com? And it allows people to show a little bit, like, in a world of 10,000, like, I don't know, Eric Silvas and people with the nickname Pitbull, like, how can we differentiate them? And like the shorts and that bit of character allowed fighters to show that. And that would just, dude, it would brighten up the product. It would make it more enticing just a little bit. And there's no hit to the bottom line for the UFC, right? There's it actually makes it easier because they don't have to provide the shorts themselves. The fighters have to provide their shorts. And when the fighters complain about their pay being super low, you go, hey man, go hustle, get better sponsors out there.
Mhm.
Right? Because like when the Reebok deal happened, a lot of fighters came out and said, like, I actually got paid more by my sponsors per fight than my actual fight purse. And like that could happen again. So you kind of shut that up. You allow the fighters to actually make a decent living, and it makes the product more dynamic for the consumer.
Mhm.
That's my first
Yeah,
pitch.
yeah.
Just yeah,
I like it. I mean, it did. I do like. I like the days when people did have some flash to it. We've talked about it at length with boxing info. That's like one of the most like fun parts. It's like
yeah,
who's it? What was it? Ennis who had like faux Timberlands on and like jorts.
yeah, yeah.
Like that shit was great. I love that. Um, yeah, I'm with it. I think that does add a little bit of, a little bit more flavor, a little more character in just like the styling. But then also, yeah, if they can get a little bit more sponsorship money, absolutely. Like, why not? So
Yeah,
doesn't
right?
hurt,
Like
doesn't hurt the brand, right?
like the first two superstars in the UFC were Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell. Tito Ortiz had the flames on the side of his shorts, and Chuck Liddell had like icicles on the side of his
Oh
shorts.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, and we've just deleted that. We've just not allowed anyone to have any of that, right? Like,
Yeah.
what would Conor McGregor's, what would Khabib's look like? What would I mean? I know they fought prior to that, but like, if they had the chance to do it, like, there's just so many, like Sakuraba's shorts, right? Like, or even
Oh,
Paddy Pimblett wearing his little stupid orange Speedo. Like, let him wear it. Let him wear it. It's like, it, it, it brings a little bit of pomp and circumstance and pageantry, even if it's low class pageantry. Like, let it happen. Like, stop trying to turn this thing into the most generic, every fight card looks exactly the same.
yeah.
You see it even in the NFL or the MLB or the NHL where they do retro jersey nights. They do breast cancer awareness nights. They do their dumb camo nights for the military. They do tons of shit. There's like 10,000 different uniforms each one of these have. And the UFC goes, no, no, no. We keep it to like the same 4 or 5 uniforms for everyone. So stupid. So stupid. So that's my first smallest change that I could make.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I like it. I'm with it.
What's your number two?
All right. We've talked about this before, but hear me out on this, okay? Because it kind of goes with the whole like content wheel and just like seemingly like weird gaps of just like time where nothing really matters and these fights kind of suck,
Mm.
but I want to incorporate some like it's not like everyone's all on the same track, but like different seasons where like basically okay, the top fighters in the featherweight division, they start like a tournament or whatever in January and they have to finish this in December. But then like the welterweights will start theirs in June and then they'll go until the following July or following February or whatever. Just in some weird offset way where basically every month you'll have cards that actually matter, that have people progressing through either a bracket or or something so that these fights actually count and they're worth watching. Because then, even if it's like, oh, it's the start of the welterweight tournament, I don't really care about this, but it's the semifinals for the lightweight, and my boy, Max is going against, Justin again, so whoever wins that will fight for the title or whatever, and again, it goes back to my whole need for like who actually is the best and who's actually earning their way to like fight at the top. I know you're not really big on my idea of having like a tournament style either. So like that's
I
also
mean, did it
why.
help? Did it make you more interested in the Bellator product or the PFL product or?
I like the idea of it. It's just there was no one actually contending that I was interested in. Do you know what I did like? Do you remember back in like I want to say the late 2000s, early 2010s, but there was like a boxing like world tournament basically. Andre Ward was part of it. There are a few other like pretty big names back then, and they all matched up to each other to eventually try to like unify all four belts.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like televised throughout the year. Now the problem that happened though was like 3 of the fights ended in draws or something like that. So it just basically prolonged it
Yeah.
and kind of screwed it up there. So that
Yeah.
is one of the problems.
Yeah. Or you get injuries, right? So you can't stick to the timetable, or there's a robbery,
Yeah.
or like,
There
you need to run
there
it
are a
back.
lot of issues, potential
Yeah.
like hamstrings. Like, yeah, if and part of me is like, okay, if you get injured, like I don't like saying it this way, but sometimes you're out of luck. Like that happens in sports, like how many like great superstar athletes, did their season just come to a screeching halt halfway through, and then their team missed the playoffs because their star player couldn't carry, like every time Steph Curry gets injured on the Warriors, I'm like,
Yeah.
well, that there goes our season. Like we've got nothing left.
Yeah, but you're interested in the team. You're not interested in Steph Curry, right? Like it'd be like, well, Max got injured, so fuck it. Let's just have the number 15 lightweight fight Justin Gaethje.
Right.
It's like, well, no, I want to see Max versus Justin Gaethje, right? I'm interested in this unique matchup, not
Yeah.
this other thing.
Yeah, that's
I,
fair.
I, I really don't. It's not helped any MMA organization before. Like it doesn't do anything. And all you do is artificially like I want to see fighters as healthy as possible on a full camp fight. It's why I also don't like all these short notice replacements. Because it's like I want to see the best Max fight the best Dustin. I don't want to see the best Dustin fight the worst Max, right? I want to
Mhm.
see as close to the best as they can get within reason fighting each other at an appointed date. Um, and like you can organize it kind of like they did with the flyweight tournament, right? Where like there was no like timetable that they had to fight in. It was whenever
Mhm.
like the fighters like it would line up. Like you can say, hey, we've got these next four, and we can definitively declare the winner of this fight and this fight will fight each other for the belt, or the winner of here are these 8 fighters. Once they're all like gone through their first rounds, like we will match them up appropriately. But if you leave a belt empty for a long time without that, it doesn't work. It's like that's why the matchmaker model just simply being here's a number 1 contenders fight, here's the number 2 contenders fight, and here's the champion. Then whoever is ready, let's say the person who wins the number 1 contenders fight uh uh gets injured. Well, we've got this backup number 2 contenders fight. So as long as they're healthy, then they can go into rotation. Because we want to keep the belts in rotation, because usually the person we're most interested in is the person with the belt. And we
Mhm.
want to keep them moving. Um yeah, how would that I guess like how would it help MMA? Like how would it get it out of its rut to have
I guess my
this
idea was to help spread out the fights so that it's not like we have these random droughts of like 4 weeks where it's like, what the fuck am I watching right now? Like, why do I have all these slop cards at the Apex? Like
Yeah.
none of these fucking matter. Like
Mhm.
what is like what content am I actually consuming? Whereas if it's like actually done, in like a bracket or league stats, you actually have some investment, because each fight would matter to move yourself up in the rankings that way.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like what you could do instead. So the aim is to avoid these drought cards where we have like 5 weeks in a row where we go, what the fuck? This is all Apex nonsense, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, could we not just say, hey, you don't need 12 fights on every card. It's okay to have like 8 fights on a card. 4 prelims and 4 main event for an Apex card. Like
Yeah. That's
that's
good.
okay. That saves us 4 fights and we could just cut those fucking fighters. Like we don't need them in rotation, right?
Mhm.
Um yeah, like yeah. Yeah. That's what I like because we're trying okay, so we're trying to fix there's too much slop in between the good fights. Well, I think one, it's that you're not building enough stars. Two, you're not
Yeah.
promoting anything. Like things can feel more important. And also three, like this Tatsuro Taira one last time, it's like I said, you could have just said, "Hey man, we're gonna pull you and you're gonna fight Steve Ursig this weekend. It's 1 weekend away. This is a much more high, like important fight than you beating an unranked dude who's like just fresh off the road to UFC." Right? And then we have the intrigue of Steve Ursig versus Tatsuro Taira, right? Like
Mhm.
that's an easy fix. You don't need to keep this person on. And then when it's a terrible Apex card, you just go like, yeah, man, it's slop. Watch it if you want. We're gonna sell it against advertisers. We know degenerate bettors will watch it, but like you won't lose the thread of actual ranked fighters by not watching this card.
Mhm.
Right? Like either be like, there are no ranked fighters on this card. This is pure filler. Right? That way you don't even need to worry. And then right, but every time they do these Apex cards where they're like, hey, we've got 3 ranked fighters on this card. And you're like, why? 3? What a weird number. And they're like, watch it. And you're like, I'm not going to. Um, but I feel like this season, man, like it's just it doesn't work for fight sports. Like it's
There are a lot more complications with fight sports in that it
yeah,
is a one-on-one type thing, you know. But
yeah.
like other sports have seasons, so like other individual sports have seasons. Like tennis and golf both have seasons, you know. So, but like it's not as physically demanding as fighting. So,
Yeah.
like balancing that out, I had like it's yeah,
Well, and again, when you're watching, like tennis is a little bit different because you're like, oh, I do hope within this bracket that these two people compete against each other. But even if they lose, nobody's like, ah, bummer, right? But nobody's ever like, God, I hope Tiger Woods goes against Rory. Rory, what's the fucking kid's name? Rory
McElroy.
McIlroy. There it is. Right? Like nobody ever like says like, God, I hope I watch them compete against each other. It's like whoever wins the whatever tour they're on, right? Or whatever
Right.
open they're at. So it's different. Whereas it's like I want to see this one-on-one competition between these two people at the
There
height of
is
their
the
power.
the occasion where two big golfers do like get matched up to play together because they all play in pairs. So
Yeah, yeah. But nobody ever is like licking their chops about being like, "Oh man, come the U.S. Open, what's it gonna look like?" Right? They're
right,
talking
right.
about it. It doesn't really matter. It's like I wonder who's the favorite to win at the Open. It's never, God, I can't wait to see these two specific people and fuck everyone else. Right at the Open. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think it's just a better accounting and a better like criteria for getting people moving through. And this it didn't feel because I'm thinking it didn't feel as muddled and confusing back in 2015, 2016, and prior to that. But that was
Mhm.
because there were just less fighters and they were more invested in building up the storyline. Right? Like what storyline has there been built beyond this past fight between Josh Van and Brandon Royval to even let anyone know that Josh Van is a contender?
Right.
You would not know it, right? It's like they don't care. It's like he just emerged and like, well, he fell into our lap. Let's throw him into a title shot. Same with like Steve Ursig against Pantoja.
Mhm.
There was no concerted effort. So it's like
Yeah.
just try, guys. You don't need to like do a season format. Just try. So I say nay. I say nay to your season.
That's fine. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, I say nay to the season. I don't think so.
All right, well, give me your second one.
My second one, it's a two-parter. Number one, you have to re-sign Francis Ngannou, guys. You got to try to re-sign Francis Ngannou. He is the defibrillator for this fucking heavyweight division. You got to bring him back. And then number 2, hey, let's get out there. Let's start knocking on some doors. Let's be going to
Start
the NFL
knocking on some doors.
Yeah, let's go to the NFL Combine and go. Tough luck. You didn't quite make it. Have you ever heard of MMA? You want to be a professional athlete? Why don't you try this? Or you go and you go like, hey man, you got third at the NCAA finals in wrestling. That's okay. Have you you're a big fella. Have you ever heard of MMA? Half of the heavyweights don't even know what a double leg takedown is. You might do pretty well, right? Let's get out there. Let's get out there. Or like, let's start trying to recruit some heavyweights. Let's start trying to recruit some light heavyweights. Let's have people actively going out into places where there are athletes and seeing about bringing them in. The UFC made a big push back in 2010 or 12 in Mexico and Latin America, building UFC PI centers down there and giving, I think, some sponsorship money to like Brandon Moreno and Irina Aldana and like the whole Lobos gym down there. A lot of these Mexican fighters who ended up going on to fight for the title, giving them money, giving them training at their UFC PI down in Mexico and then further down in South America to try to kind of like revitalize that market and get it interested in MMA. They should do that for specific divisions. And I'm talking primarily about light heavyweight and heavyweight because there are so many washouts from other sports that would do great in this division because they just need to beat Waldo Acosta Cortez, which I'm like 99% certain that half of the motherfuckers in the NFL could probably do, you know? So like, let's get out there. Let's start knocking on some doors, start shaking some hands. Let's start actively recruiting. Start actively recruiting for this sport because all these other sports actively recruit. So let's actively recruit for MMA, especially at heavyweight, especially at light heavyweight, because the shit is so dire. The loss of 2 fighters from the UFC, Tom Aspinall and Alex Pereira, means that both of those divisions are basically worth nothing more than just cutting. You know,
Why don't UFC like personnel go actively recruit from like collegiate wrestling? Like,
why would they?
why don't they? Like, that would be so. That's your feeder right there. Like every other professional sport has, college level sports.
Right.
College football, college basketball, college baseball, college hockey, everything. You know,
Right.
why do they not recruit from one of the like core pillars of MMA with wrestling? Like, yeah, you have to develop other skills, but like, why don't they do that?
I think it used to be something that the camps used to do that, right? So like Uriah Faber and Team Alpha Male used to recruit from high schools around California. It used to be that what were they known as? The Couture Chael Sonnen and Matt Lindland gym out of
Extreme
Portland.
couture.
No. It wasn't Extreme Couture. It was fuck, what were they called? I can't remember. My brain is melting. They're out of Portland. Rick Story came through there, but they recruited from colleges around the Pacific Northwest. Right. Like AKA for a time recruited through wrestling with Cain Velasquez and Daniel Cormier.
Right.
And so I think it primarily was like, oh, the gyms did it. And then the UFC used to do it. But then, I mean, dude, since 2018, almost every quarter has been more profitable than the last for the UFC. Why the fuck would you care to pay other people's salaries and healthcare and dental and match their 401k when every quarter for the past, what is that, 8 years, 9 years,
Yeah.
you've seen quarter over quarter improvement in profits?
Hmm.
Like, what? Well, I mean, that's the power of a monopoly, man. You
Yeah,
can let
yeah.
the product go to shit and still make more money than when you gave your best effort.
Mhm.
And to give better effort would actually hurt the product or hurt your
Right.
profitability of the product, right?
Right.
You could go to improve the product, but now your profit's going to dip. So like, why would I do that? Until I see my profit dip even once, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to keep cutting jobs basically until it's clear that I mean the UFC almost did what any like quote unquote disruptor industry did to the old industry, right? Like Uber used venture capitalist money to run taxi services out of a job, and now what us as consumers are left with is Uber drivers who are worse than taxi drivers, and now Uber's cost basically the same across the United States as taxi services would cost if they still existed.
Mhm.
So all Uber did was run a better product out of the market, and now they gave us an inferior product for the same price. Same thing with Airbnb, right? Like Airbnb ran a lot of hotels out of business, and now Airbnb costs are about the same, and you have like a 20% chance of getting like filmed or somebody coming into the apartment while you're staying at the Airbnb,
Right.
right? And like there's no like maid service at all, or like Netflix, right? They ran, or like streaming ran television and like movie distribution out of there so that they could distribute what the gray man and like terrible slop through their service, right? Like, and so now we pay the same amount, right? Like having all of the streaming services is basically like having a cable bundle, but you're basically getting worse content overall from all these streaming services and less content than you would have had if it was like the height of when you had like a really big expensive cable package. So
Mhm.
all of these disruptor things, all they do is they destroy the old industry to replace it at the same price level with an inferior product because they over leverage just to destroy this past industry. And that's what it feels like with the UFC. That they just have like, we're just gonna leverage to destroy our own product to replace it with a worse product, but charge you the same amount.
Mhm.
You know? Like
Yeah.
it's a weird thing. It's a weird
Yeah.
thing. So that's why they don't do it. Because there's no if you're a monopoly, why would you, right? If you have a monopoly on milk, why would you test it for poison? There's no reason to do that because where else is anyone going to buy milk? You can either buy the milk that's poisoned 5% of the time or you buy no milk. People are going to buy milk. So there you go. That's that. Anyway, that's my second one. Go actively recruit, right? Which will hit the bottom line, but hopefully you can pitch to investors, "Hey, actually having an American heavyweight that's good would be worthwhile." Remember how
Mhm.
cool it was? Just flash up a picture of Brock Lesnar. Flash up a picture of Cain Velasquez. Go, remember the good old times? Remember this huge boon in our ratings when Brock Lesnar was here? Let's do that. Let's try to get somebody that's like big and famous to come and fight at heavyweight. That's that'd be my pitch. Go actively recruit. You don't need to do it for 125, 135, 145. That's fine. But like heavyweight, light heavyweight, maybe even middleweight. Go 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 try to recruit a little bit.
Did you see like the numbers for the lighter weight classes way outnumber all the heavier ones?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the fact that they are not promoted is still fucking baffling to me.
Yeah, man. Well, it's where the best fighters are. Well, if you are, I don't. Okay, let's talk about that. I mean, we're getting off topic. Why do you think it is that there are that many more? Because even worldwide, when you look at all MMA fights that have occurred, which also like I'd mentioned like back in 20 was it 17 or 18, there were 24,000 MMA fights that occurred, and in
Whoa, that
2020,
many.
yeah, in 2024 there were 14,000. Like
Whoa.
that shit's dipping. It's dipping hard.
Yeah.
Um, and just like the UFC, the spread of fighters or the percentage of fighters that are 155 and below just keeps inching up and eating up more of the total pie than people 170 and above. Why do you think that is, Colin? This is entirely speculation. We have no data to support this, but just give me your plum thoughts here.
Ah, dude, I have no idea like why like cuz fighting is one of those few sports where like because there are weight classes, the smaller person who traditionally can't play professional sports actually can,
Yeah.
you know? So
Yeah.
like I I don't know why like why one there's not as many or there should be more and therefore like because the talent pool there's just a greater draw, the talent pool should be higher, just by numbers, and why that's not fucking like advertised or not marketed or whatever. Like
Mhm.
I don't know. I have no answer for that. And I've been like trying to come up with any theory for like years now, and I have nothing.
I'll give you 3 theories. You give me a possible, you give me a probable, you give me a not possible. That's done. Just
Okay.
you rate it on whatever scale you want. I think you hit it on the first one, which is really good, which is uh, if you're a lighter weight class, you can't play other major professional sports. You have
Right.
to play this sport.
Yeah.
And so while there has been a dip across the heavier weight classes, it stayed relatively consistent and slightly increased as MMA has become more worldwide. So it's not like, oh man, there's just been this huge explosion of lightweight people. It's no, they've steadily remained about the same or gone up a little bit. It's just that the heavier guys have gone down because there are other opportunities in other big man sports.
Right.
So that's one theory.
Okay.
Uh, the second theory is that, um, I mean, pay in MMA sucks, right?
Yeah.
Especially outside of the UFC. I think what the median outside of the UFC, no, the median salary for an MMA fight was $2,000 in 2024. And
Jesus.
we know in the UFC it's 10 and 10, right? So the UFC is actually kind of the upper end of what pay is, right? But for
Mhm.
all those other fights, it's pretty low pay. That's USD, 2000 USD.
Yeah. Yeah.
What that means is that if you come from a country like the Philippines, like Indonesia, like Mexico, like a lot of other countries where the US dollar is a lot stronger than the local currency, you can make a more decent living doing MMA. And
Mhm.
typically these are countries like in Latin America or Southeast Asia. And these are countries that are just known to have kind of smaller stature people, right? The
Yeah.
average height for a man is just a little bit smaller. So you're recruiting a lot more talent from those areas. Like
Mhm.
even Dagestan has I think average height for a man of 5'8", whereas in America it's 5'11", right? So you just have
Mhm.
smaller stature people in areas where the dollar that you're making to fight MMA goes further and you can live more comfortably. And so it's like a pursuit that seems worthwhile to go
Okay.
after.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
another one, like the kind of economic incentive.
Yeah.
The last
All
one,
right.
which is
I
just
buy that.
totally my own thing, which is like, why are we not seeing a lot of like Northern European? Why are we not seeing a lot of American heavyweights and light heavyweights? Is like simply that being a big dude in those countries, typically, we've seen statistics to show you're more likely to get promoted in an office if you are above 6 feet tall, right? Your chance of
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
promoted over 6 feet tall is twice as high as anyone 5'10" to 5'6", and if you're under 5'6", it's actually 3 times higher that you're gonna get promoted. So me and my 5'4" ass is 3 times less likely to get promoted than my dumbass coworker who's 6 feet tall. And so you go, why? I can either be tall man who plays sports. I can go play basketball in China or you know Czech Republic. Going real old school
Yeah. I
Czechoslovakia,
was gonna
right?
say.
I can be like a D2 basketball player and still go make a living playing basketball, right? Or I can just go get like an office job and work in like automotive sales. And since I'm 6 feet tall, I'm more likely to make sales. Why would I fight MMA and get brain damage for 10,000 a year? This is silly, right?
Mhm.
Um, so I think there's like the broader economic trends in North America and Western Europe, and then the kind of just like actual demographic look when it comes to height for the like what countries are actually really over leveraged in MMA currently at the moment, right? We see like this resurgence of Japanese MMA, which of course a little bit smaller stature people, or if they are big people, they're probably competing in sumo because
Yep.
there's more money and more acclaim there. And then yeah, simply you make more money in stick and ball sports
Mhm.
overall if you're a big dude.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those are my theories.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, I have to
All
come
right.
up with a third one? Or you're coming up
Yeah.
with a third one?
Well, yeah. Tell me your third. I've got one, but yeah.
No, no, no,
What do
you
you
go
got?
first.
Okay. Okay. My last and third one, and this is gonna be controversial because again, it kind of goes. It's kind of pushing the boundary of what you're saying. You know,
Oh man.
with like bottom lines and things, but there needs to be a consolidated viewing experience for the UFC. Like, it needs to be in
Mm.
one usable area. I don't care if it's
Mhm.
on Netflix. I don't care if it's on ESPN, although ESPN's like app sucks dick. I don't care if the UFC makes their own fucking app or whatever and then does it that way. It just needs to be in one area that is
Mhm.
consistent and that's useful. And if they had some sort of, because you said they get most of their money through site fees and through contracts with countries or cities or whatever here, get rid of this fucking pay-per-view model. It's not working.
Yeah.
Like, it's like most people just like steal it anyway. So like if you just make a small subscription fee, and then just stream it there for everyone to see, like if you subscribe, more people will probably opt into it and won't pirate the stream. You will still have pirated streams, but it will be significantly less.
That's not a bad idea. It does it like I wonder if the smart move for them or any sports organization would be, though they can make so much money off of like the NFL or like even tennis makes so much money off of, CBS, ABC, ESPN
Right.
having the rights to do it on linear television.
Yeah.
But
Oh, of
for
course.
something like the UFC, for something like and then you could package it with WWE, which already is on Netflix.
Yeah.
Have a Netflix sports spinoff, right? Where
Oh.
you could have your Netflix subscription and then it's an add-on, right?
Uh-huh.
To get Netflix Sports, and that gives you access to the full catalog of the UFC, the full catalog of WWE, and as they acquire more sports that they want, they can put it on there. And
Mhm.
then maybe once every quarter or maybe 3 times a year on the official main Netflix, like their Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, like their Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor fight, they will have one of their big tentpole MMA fights appear on the front page of Netflix so that for people that are like, I don't know why I would buy this Netflix sports add-on because I don't watch wrestling or I don't watch the UFC or I don't watch professional bull riding, right?
Mhm.
They still have a chance to see and experience this big tentpole event as a hook,
Yeah.
as a offer, right?
Mhm.
A free taste, a demo to try to entice them to sign up for Netflix Sports.
Yeah, yeah, I like that.
That
I like that.
that would be yeah, that would be though also, like, they had UFC Fight Pass for a long time, and, like, they still have it, but it's like, they don't advertise that anymore, but it's, of course, because, like, right, ESPN pays them $700 million a year or whatever the fuck
Yeah,
to be on ESPN, even though that app sucks. Um,
yeah,
yeah,
it
and have it
really
be
does.
one one consolidated man, and then you could do it especially when it comes to Netflix, you could do it worldwide then, right?
Mhm.
It wouldn't be but I mean, part of the way that a lot of these sports make money is, like, you go on Sky Sports, you go on TSN, you go on ESPN, you go here, you go here. Every country is a different deal that you gotta
Yeah.
cut. So, I agree. But, like, I also agree with, like, the pay-per-view model not really being something that's, like did you see that? The Q3 financial report came out for for Disney, and they said that ESPN actually made ESPN through ESPN Plus made more money in Q3 than they did in Q2 and Q1, all the way back to Q3 of last year because they've been paying the UFC less and less each quarter, even though they have
Uh,
a flat contractual fee for what they have to pay them.
mhm.
It's just if the UFC on pay-per-view surpasses a certain amount, they have to give them a cut of the pay-per-view revenue. But the UFC has been consistently dipping
Under that?
under that. Yeah. So like pay-per-view was just I mean taking a shit and not doing great for the
Yeah,
UFC. Partially, maybe majorly because of their own doing and like just pumping out dog shit pay-per-views.
yeah, yeah,
And not promoting them effectively, but yeah, that's a good call. Put it all yeah, just put it all I don't know. Look, we're all the streaming services are just reinventing cable. Like, can we just skip ahead 5 years where, like, Netflix and Disney and Paramount and HBO all get together and they go, "Hey, buy our package, and then you also get access to C-SPAN and fucking like CNN and Fox News, and then we'll just like have a streaming cable package. Like, can we just do that really quick? And then you say like it's $150 a month, and everyone will go, ah, bummer, and then they'll just do it, and we'll just do that. I mean, that's the end of all of these disruptor app things. I just went on a spiel about it, but it's just like Uber's just gonna start calling themselves like retro taxi, and then we're all just gonna be in taxis again. Like, nobody invented anything new. They just found a way of destroying something that was old, and then going, ah, fuck, that was actually the right way to do it. So, like, can we just go to that, please?
Just go back.
Well, I don't want to go back, like, because I like being able to watch the fights on my phone, right? I don't want to have like a cable box and have to have like the cable company come out and install the box. But like, there's a reason nobody was able to take down cable until Netflix had so much VC funding money that they could be in the red for 10 plus years, right? Like they could literally just burn money until another company was unable to do it. But it's like, because that's the only model anyone's been able to figure out how to monetize. And it turns out none of these motherfuckers since like 2007 has been able to figure out how to monetize any of this extra shit. Nobody's been able to figure out how to monetize streaming. Nobody's been able to figure out how to monetize ride sharing or food delivery or any of this shit. Nobody's been able to figure out how to monetize the news. Remember when they were we're gonna have Vice and Vox and all this shit? It's like, nope, it's still just the New York Times and the Washington Post. Nobody knows how to make money off the news either, right? Like, we're just all going back to the same thing, and all they've done is destroyed the thing that was before, which is of objectively better quality. And now they're like, well, now you can have the same thing again for worse quality. And you go, God damn. So yeah, I agree. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's put the shit on Fuel TV. I'll buy the Fuel TV package. We'll just
Fuel
watch that.
TV, Jesus.
Yeah, but right, like that's. I would, yeah, if it was just on Netflix, or if it was, I mean, it's weird because up here in Canada, I'm not supposed to have ESPN Plus, but I do, because the only way to watch UFC is to watch it on TSN, which is like our ESPN, and that's just linear cable. And I'm not getting a cable box just to watch UFC. You crazy, Canada? Stick it on Netflix. Stick it on something where everyone has the app, right?
Yeah.
Or yeah, UFC Fight Pass. It's like the WWE had done that at one point, hadn't they? Where they had their own streaming service.
They did, yeah.
And then what happened with that? Did that just like shit and die, and that's why they went to Netflix?
Dude, I don't know. I didn't keep up with
Yeah.
what happened with WWE or anything. So
yeah, I don't know much about it. I just know that they had their own, and everyone was like, "Oh, what a brilliant idea!" Because I think it was like you paid a monthly subscription, and then the pay-per-views were only like $5.
Yeah,
to watch, as opposed to like what is the UFC now, like $90?
There's 70, I think.
Ugh, brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a good call. I like that.
Thank you.
I think yeah, Netflix Sports, and then you can have a little bit bleeding over into Netflix. Yeah, I think that's a good call. All right, my last one.
Yep, give it.
I've given the fighters a little bit more money. We're changing the shorts. Nice. We're actually recruiting for heavyweight, and we're re-signing Francis Ngannou. Last thing we're gonna do, we're gonna take a look at our budget, and we're gonna say, okay, we're making a lot of money at these Apex slop cards, and you know what? It's okay. We might increase the number of Apex slop cards. Be all right, everyone. A few more Apex slop. But what that means is that when the opportunity presents itself, when Max Holloway inevitably retires, we're taking this bitch to Hawaii.
Okay.
It won't be as profitable, but it's going to be glorious. Hey, we know Spain and the Bernabeu is not paying us a site fee, so it's not as profitable as going to Utah with Ilia Topuria, but by God, we're taking Ilia Topuria to Spain and having him fight in the Bernabeu. Hey, we know, and Dana White hates it. Oh, there's so much rain. Oh, there's a certain time that you have to be out of the venue for Cork Park. Listen, I don't want to watch Conor McGregor fight either, but Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz 3 in Cork Park in Dublin, Ireland, you know that shit sells bananas. You know that actually revitalizes the sport even just a little bit by 1%. You have to start taking actions to make a big deal out of the things in your sport that are a big deal. No more Alex Pereira is going to fight Khalil Roundtree. Where? Salt Lake City, Utah. Huh. Why? Right? No
Yeah.
more of that. No, no more Ilya Topuria is just gonna fight in New Jersey. No more Islam Makhachev is just gonna fight in Los Angeles. None of this makes any sense, man. Remember when they would have Uriah Faber constantly fighting in Sacramento? It was
Yeah.
great. We love to see that. When they had Demetrius Johnson fighting in Seattle, Washington, right near his hometown of Kirkland, this is great. This is what you want, right?
Mm.
That's when they had Alexander Gustafsson fight in his hometown of Stockholm, Sweden. That's what you want. Conor McGregor even going to Ireland. It wasn't at Croke Park, but it was that little venue. I think that was the O2 in Dublin. Worthwhile. These are the things you should be doing. Why has there not been a fight card in Liverpool with Paddy Pimblett on it? As much as I don't like Paddy, this is huge. You should do that, right? How come boxing is able to take these fight cards to any town where anyone is from? And the UFC is like, we've got 5 cities that we can go to, and that's it. That's it, buddies. Right? Why did Robert Whittaker, in what might be one of his last fights, that should have either been in RDR's hometown of Amsterdam, or that shit should have been in Sydney, Australia,
Yeah.
where Robert Whittaker is from? Why the fuck was it in Abu Dhabi? Doesn't make any sense. Or was it Saudi Arabia? I think it was Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, yeah.
Yeah. Start doing that. And it doesn't need to be
Yeah.
for every fighter, but we can do it for Max. We can do it for
We could do it for the stars, yeah.
Ilya Topuria. We can do it. Yo, the fact that we have a New Zealand team that has like 4 or 5 amazing fighters and we've not been to New Zealand, this is crazy. Why hasn't there been an Izzy and Dan Hooker main event, co-main event in Auckland, New Zealand?
God, that would be wild.
Right? So we just start doing a little bit of that. I'm not saying every fight, and I'm saying, you know what, you want to keep that slot bucket going, you keep that slot bucket going. But every time you look at the calendar and you go, ooh, Salt Lake City? Maybe we'll go there. Go, wait. Maybe there's somewhere else. And you just kind of look at a map and you go, who do I got on this fight card? Alex Bahera. He worked better in Salt Lake City or maybe Brazil. Or fuck it, he lives in Connecticut now. Put that shit in Connecticut. Like, just put it in a more appropriate spot. You know?
Yeah.
Or if you can't do Croke Park, if you sign Nate Diaz for one more fight to fight Conor McGregor, or just Nate Diaz for one more fight, put that shit in Stockton, motherfucker.
Oh my God.
Just put it the places it's supposed to be. That's all I ask. Just put the fights in the place where the fights are meant to take place. You know? Doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah. That's what I'd say. Just
All right.
so you allow a little bit more, again, pomp and circumstance. It feels like a big deal. How great was it to have Dustin Poirier fight in Louisiana, his home
Yeah.
state? Like,
that
it
was
felt
pretty sweet.
so cool. Yes. And like, that was so easy. It
Yeah.
was so easy for them to do that. You know? Like,
Yeah.
do that shit.
I'm with you. That would be great.
Yeah, and you have so many fighters that are already from Florida. You can go back to Florida 10,000 times because there will be fighters from there, right? There are
Yeah.
a ton of fighters. Khalil Roundtree is from Las Vegas, Nevada. When he fought Jamal Hill, it didn't need to be in Azerbaijan. It could have been in his home city. He was born in Las Vegas. Put it in fucking Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Right? Right? You have Azerbaijani fighters, and you didn't put them on an Azerbaijani card. What's going on? You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah.
So, that's my last one.
All right. No, I like that. I like that a lot.
Shorts. Let them wear shorts. Let's recruit some heavyweights, and let's put the fights where they belong.
Yeah.
That's what
No,
I'd
those
say.
are good. Those are good.
Yeah. Any other thoughts?
I mean, I feel like some of our suggestions are not that wild. They are not that like they are easy fixes right now.
I mean, this
they're
shows
easy wins.
How fucking greedy the UFC is. Because these are easy wins. Or these are easy things to try. You tried your fucking glove experiment, and then you went, ooh, I didn't like that there were less knockouts in this, like, statistically irrelevant sample size. I'm going to change it. So now we don't even get the cool gold gloves when they fight for a title. I liked the gold. It made it feel a little different. It made it feel less like slop. It made it feel less homogenous. And they were like, no, I don't like that. Man. It's like, you know how easy it would be to overturn the uniform thing and allow them to try their own
Oh,
sponsors and then
yeah,
pull it again if you didn't like it. You already did
yeah.
it once. The fighters didn't push back. How easy it would be to go to Hawaii once with Max Holloway and then go, ooh, we actually like ate $30 million worth of dick on that card, so we can't do that again. Fine, you tried it. Just try, man. Just try something. Remember when
Yeah.
the UFC used to try? Ugh.
Back in the day.
Yeah, they used to. Remember that Conor McGregor, Jose Aldo, run this town commercial?
Yeah. Yeah, that
Yeah,
that shit
dude.
was good.
Yeah. They had a world tour for them. Remember when
Yeah.
Conor McGregor fought Nate Diaz and they had their like impromptu Stockton like press conference?
I don't remember that one, but I believe it happened. Like, I don't remember
Yeah.
that.
Or like when the John Jones DC went on the thing and then they caught the live mic
Oh, yeah.
and John Jones claims he was gonna kill him. Or when GSP fought, was it Jake Shields and they made sure to rent out the largest stadium in Canada? Right?
Oh,
Like
God, yeah.
it's like these are not this is not moving heaven and earth. This is well within their rights. They're gonna try to put on a fucking fight on the White House lawn. Dana White is saying he's already talking to contractors about the right way to build retaining walls and shit. Like,
Fuck that.
they're gonna go out of their way to do that nonsense. And it's like, hey man, could you maybe try to recruit a heavyweight? Which like speaking of recruiting heavyweights, Martin Budai beat he's 7-0 in the UFC. He just beat Buchecha, one of the best heavyweight grapplers in the world, a card or two ago, and then they cut him. They were like, "Nah, he didn't want to re-sign for the contract value we wanted, so he's out." And it's like he's a 7-0 heavyweight who just beat
Yeah.
Buchecha, and you're not going to keep him? And they're like, "Nah, we'll just get some other fucking, you know, deli counter worker from fucking Thackersville, Oklahoma. He'll sign up. He's 300 pounds. He's 3-0 at MMA. Like he'll get in there, right? Like what are we doing here, guys? It's but it's they're slowly turning MMA into the slop genre. Everything must look the same. It must be exactly the same. It must be super predictable. No excitement, no divergence,
Mhm.
just like consistent. It's like what was that drink that all the coders used to drink or all the like tech bros back in the day? Soylent, right?
Is
That like
I
beige shake that had all your nutrients in it. It's like, yeah.
maybe? I don't
You never interacted with any of those dudes that were like in sales for like B2B tech sales? And like, bro, eating's a waste of time. I'm out here to grind. And you're like, you need to calm down. Like you're
No.
you're selling fucking like dental software. You need to calm down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Soylent, I think is what it was called. Anyway. Yeah. Well, those are our ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, UFC, take them for free. Take them for free because we'll enjoy them
Yeah.
if you do
Yeah.
them. Now,
I
don't take Colin's season idea. That's a bad idea.
Watch it work.
I mean, I watched it fail for the IFL, for Bellator, for PFL. I've watched it fail for more organizations than it's ever
Ah,
succeeded for.
it fucking worked for Pride.
Oh yeah, where's Pride doing now?
Yeah, well, they were fucking bought out by fucking UFC. That's why.
Yeah. But
It's
also,
not
like,
because
what
they were running tournaments.
Yeah. Well, oh no, but why did they go bankrupt?
Because the UFC just poached all their fighters.
No, man, it was because they lost their TV deal. Why? Because they were fight fixing because they were run by the Yakuza.
Oh well, yeah, that also makes them kind of
Well,
cool too,
yeah, that kind of. I love Pride. But and dude, some of the Pride tournaments were great. Now, I will say one of the things that was cool about the Pride tournaments is because it was Japan. They had no safety regulations, so they would allow you to have like 4 fights in a night, which
Yeah.
legally cannot happen in the United States. Um, which is probably good
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
health of these people, but that's also why it worked because these dudes were juiced to the tits and they were legally allowed to fight basically to the death. Uh, so yeah. No, but it has never worked for any other organization ever. And like the original UFCs don't count either. Because again,
Oh,
this
no,
was
no, no.
an
That was a different
unregulated sport.
that was a different sport, yeah.
Yeah, imagine like Khabib fighting 25 rounds. Like it's crazy. You'll kill a fool. That's nuts. So yeah. Um, but yeah, take our ideas because these are easy. Like you said, like we came in real modest. We didn't go buck wild.
Yeah.
We didn't say like fighting on the moon. We didn't say open weight tournaments. Didn't say remove the rules. Let's go back to the original UFC one rule. We didn't say cut heavyweight. We didn't say cut all the women's divisions. Yeah, we didn't say cut half your fighters or cut half of the fights, which actually would probably solve 90% of these issues if
Yeah.
you just halved the number of fights you had in a year and halved the number of fighters. We gave you very easy, modest things, so just try it, UFC. Intern who's at the UFC who listens to this, searching for ideas, just pick one of those.
Yeah.
None of them will be picked up because the issue is Dana White being there. Dana White hates sponsorship logos. He hates Francis Ngannou. He hates not making as much money as possible and trying to go back to square one on Netflix. He also hates tournaments, so Colin, you're shit out of luck there.
He hates rankings too.
He does hate rankings, but he would be into your rankings idea because he's like, dude, Mark Zuckerberg's gonna fix it for us. He's gonna come up with an AI model that does it. Which I'm 90% sure the AI model is just Dana White picks who he wants to be in the top
Yes.
15
Yeah.
spots, right? Like, which he already does. Like, that's the thing that's
Yeah.
so crazy is it got leaked that they get like the media members who vote on this get sent out a packet by the UFC telling them exactly how to vote. Like it's
Yeah.
already
I remember you saying that before.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, why are you mad, bro? Why are you mad? Anyway. Alrighty. Well, those are ideas, are modest ideas. That's a modest proposal to fix the UFC. And by contrast, MMA. Please do something. Please do something, the UFC, because it's making you're making it difficult to be a fan.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I gotta say, Tapology, the fact that you've put Pavlovich over Volkov is upsetting. The fact you put Jamal Hill over Claire Roundtree is upsetting. The fact that you've put Leon Edwards to fight the fact that despite the fact that he got tapped with the quickness by Sean Brady, and he is 3 spots ahead of Sean Brady. This makes no sense. This makes no sense. And the fact that Josh Van is number 4 and Brandon Royval is number 2, even though Josh Van just beat Royval. Doesn't make any sense.
I got to
Doesn't
read
make
through
any
their
sense.
rules of how they actually did this. So
It has to do with like your past 6 fights. Where was the person ranked when you won? What was the method of victory? Like how close were the scorecards? So like Brandon Royval obviously has fought a like top 5 ranked fighter in his last 6 fights, whereas Joshua Van's only fought 1 ranked fighter in his past 6 fights. And Royval, I think, has had a finish in his past 6 fights. Josh Van has as well, but not against a top 10 fighter. So therefore, he's ranked lower. Again, this is where the algorithm gets a little fucky, where you're like, you're not really respecting the nuance of what's going on here.
right.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm 2 fight fans. No, I'm
You're-
not 2 fight fans. I'm 1 fight fan, Stuart.
I'm the other of the 2 fight fans, Colin.
Look, there are 4 fight fans here. Yeah, join us on Tuesday. We're gonna talk about maybe the fights that went down, and then next week or next weekend we do have a fight card that is interesting to watch. Where middleweight, baby, a very middleweight
Oh,
fight
yeah.
happens. We've got some good fights on the undercard. We're gonna make full picks for that card. But until
Hey, we're
then,
back to it.
yeah, until then, don't watch the Apex card. Or unless, nah, fuck it, don't watch it. Don't watch the Apex. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.